Hi there, this is Roderick from Toy Masters Video Magazine. Still here at ToyFair at the Jacob Jarvis Convention Center for 2019 in New York City. We're here with SHelby Matthews from McFarLane Toys. She's going to show us all the new products coming out from McFarLane Toys. And I know she's going to be a great host and everything and a great presenter. So with that, SHelby.
I apologize in advance. I like to talk a lot, so hopefully you guys are buckling up and ready to be on board. We're going to start over here with the Game of Thrones. So we have 4 figures coming out for Game of Thrones. We have Jon, Arya, Dany, and the Night King. So all 4 of them reflect their outfits from Season 7, which will transition some to Season 8. In addition to the 4 figures, we also have a creature line that we're coming out with, which is the dragons. So the dragons, the first one featuring Viserion, he has a stand and a base. His wings, his tail, his head, his neck, and his legs can all move, and his fire can be removed from his mouth. So the dragon and all 4 figures will be releasing in April this year, the same time as the last season is airing. Following up shortly behind them is Drogon. Drogon will also feature the similar amount of articulation that Viserion has. However, he will have a ground base compared to a flight stand, but he will be removable from that base. So, of course, if those 2 dragons do respectively well, we plan to end cap it with a Rhaegal. And if the other 4 figures do well, we plan to do additional series, but it's kind of a wait and see to see if there is continued to be an appetite for these figures since the series is ending in April. So, if you really like these and would like to see more, make sure to grab some when they come out in April and post all how awesome they are and how much you love them. So next we have Stranger Things. So we've done the Stranger Things figures in Season 1. So Netflix is pretty strict about any spoilers, so we can't show any of the figures that we'll be having for Season 3. But we can talk about how we will be doing a Hopper and an 11 figure, and that's going to be very 80s, because of course. Other than that, we just have examples of our Season 1 and Season 2 figures here all out to show examples of. Next, we have our lovely Labyrinth figure. So originally we had done the Goblin King, and it had done exceptionally well. And because it had done well, we decided to do a second Jareth figure, because who doesn't love David Bowie? And so we did a Dance Magic Jareth version. So he has improved articulation. So anybody who's been paying attention to our shenanigans during Toy Fair has noted that we're upping our articulation on a lot of our brands. And so the Jareth figure has an increased articulation like that. He comes with his whip and a goblin. So that particular goblin, you're like, I don't inherently recognize that goblin. Where's that goblin from? Well, that is the goblin that he drop kicks in the middle of the song. Our next batch we have is all our anime licenses. I am the brand manager for all the anime licenses, so these are near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to rant a lot about them, and I apologize in advance. So we've had Naruto and One Punch Man for about 2 years. However, for One Punch Man, we had not released any figures yet because we were waiting for the next season to air. So since the next season is airing in April, we're finally coming out with our Saitama figure. So here is an old prototype of Saitama. It doesn't have any of the articulation cuts in it, but he is being updated to have those 22 moving parts that is reflected in our Fortnite figures. We've been dubbing it Ultra Articulation, so anytime you see reference to that in any of our social pages or our website, that's what it refers to. 22 moving parts, full range of motion, same range of motion that the Fortnite figures have. He will come with 2 heads, his normal head and his serious head, and 2 sets of hands, his relaxed hands and fists. For Naruto, originally we had released 2 figures, static pose Naruto and a partially articulated Sakura, both of which obviously had their relatively limited articulation on them and not as expressive and fun as they should be. So we have re-articulated Naruto, so it is the same sculpt from the first Naruto figure, but has been re-articulated to incorporate the 22 moving parts. And so he also has a full range of motion and can be fully posed, which is great because when you're a ninja, you need to have that range of motion and be able to do that with your figure. So our new brand that we have is My Hero Academia. That is our third anime license we have. And My Hero Academia we're releasing in fall of this year, September. So right before season 4 release of the anime. We're coming out with 4 figures. We're coming out with Deku, Bakugo, All Might, and Shigaraki. So I want to keep a formula of 3 heroes and a villain. Because obviously since My Hero Academia revolves around superheroes and being the best hero in the quest to discovering yourself, you need to have a villain to be able to fight. So Shigaraki made sense to put in line 1 because he's the longest running villain since the first season. So I plan to add in additional villains for continued waves. And also for continued waves, plan to have additional fan favorite characters. But it made sense, you got to start with Deku. He's obviously the main character and fan favorite. Bakugo, who's my fan favorite, which I was super excited to put in there. And All Might, because it's All Might. Everyone will be also fully articulated with 22 moving parts, full range of motion. They'll come with accessories unique to them, alternate hands, alternate heads. Bakugo will have explosions that can attach to his hand. Midoriya actually has lightning crackles that will be cast in a soft PVC plastic that can be removable from his arm, and then you could put it on his legs or wherever else you want to do it, or use it on your other figures, which is also possible as well. Like I said, September release for them, so you'll get them right around the time that the next season airs. Next, we have a batch of things. So we signed a partnership with Bethesda. So we got 3 franchise-wide for 3 of their biggest brands, Fallout, Doom, and Elder Scrolls. We have franchise-wide, as mentioned, for all of Fallout. So that's all the games. We're not doing any new product for Fallout until 2020. But we plan to come out with the Vault Suit and the Power Armor, since it's iconic. For Doom, we plan to come out with the Doom Slayer, aka Doom Guy, in fall of this year. And he will come in his classic green Space Marine armor. Also will have 22 moving parts and full articulation. I plan to have him come with 2 weapons, the BFG and the Super Shotgun. However, it might drop down to 1 because he has a lot of deco and a lot of armor going on, so costing maybe no, you can only have 1. For Elder Scrolls, I'm not coming out with a figure first, I'm coming out with a creature. So I am doing Alduin from Skyrim. Anybody who's played Skyrim knows Alduin is your main antagonist who's trying to literally destroy the world and cause the apocalypse. So as your favorite evil black dragon, he's the first one to come out, similar to Viserion and Drogon from Game of Thrones. He will have, his wings will be able to move, his legs will be able to move, tail, head, neck, all that fun stuff. He'll come with a base and a stand as well, so he looks like he's flying. And of course, if these respective figures do well, then for Elder Scrolls I want to do like a Parthenax, of course move to human characters. For Doom, if it does well, then obviously I could start moving into doing demons. One of the other brands we got with Warner Brothers, in addition to Harry Potter and DC, we got Mortal Kombat, franchise-wise for Mortal Kombat, so that's all games, across everything. We're leading off with Scorpion and Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 11, which is coming out in April this year. And so if they do well, then of course we'll continue to make more. Plan to do a classic series. Plan to do additional characters from 11 and just different iterations of them throughout the entire franchise of Mortal Kombat. So obviously if you're a Mortal Kombat fan and want to see more, then definitely pick up these figures. They will have also have 22 moving parts, full range of motion, full articulation, so you could pose them and have them fight. I'll probably be including stands with them as well, so that way they can be posed and be able to stand without falling over. And of course, all of their weapons that will be unique to them. So Scorpion will have like his kunai spear, and Sub-Zero will have various ice weapons. And the last one we have for new gaming brands, we got Hollow Knight. So anybody familiar with this little indie game, it's a side-scrolling Metroidvania-esque game. So you play as a little knight, and everything is insect-like based kingdom. So you are insect-like, the environment and the other creatures are insect-like, and you delve into this underground world, and you have to figure out what has befallen this kingdom. Something has happened that has caused this mass destruction and death, but you don't know because you lost your memories. So we plan to make product for that, but we don't plan to have anything until 2020. So, stay tuned for updates and all that fun pertaining to Hollow Knight. Next, we have good old Borderlands. We have franchise-wide for Borderlands as well. So right now, all the figures we have are for Borderlands 2. However, the Psycho up there on the top, he is the Psycho iteration that will be from the next Borderlands game. However, you know, one of the industry's worst-kept secrets is obviously Borderlands 3 is eventually coming out. We don't know when either. We're just kind of waiting and seeing because, you know, 2K/Gearbox, who's making it, they're working hard to create an awesome game for everyone. So once they have new content, they'll share new content with us. And by extension, we can start making some figures for Borderlands 3. But for now, we just have examples of Borderlands 2 figures, with the exception of Psycho up there. And they will also be updated to the 22 moving parts, full range of motion, full articulation. We also moving back to the box packaging. Previously, we had clamshell. So first we had a box, and then we switched to clamshell, and then we had a box. So the reason behind that is because originally, plastic is actually cheaper than cardboard. Plastic is actually cheaper than a lot of things, weirdly. Like, it's cheaper than fabric and a lot of things. So because of that, we had switched to a clamshell because plastic was cheaper than having a full cardboard box. But then the price of plastic increased, so it was actually more than doing a box. So we're like, because a box is more collector friendly, a box is prettier looking, a box you can remove your figure without ruining the integrity of your collectible, we decided just to go back to a box. So everything across the board is going back to boxes. For Call of Duty, we also have franchise-wide for Call of Duty. So our two newest figures is Frank Woods and Richtofen. Frank Woods, of course, is a fan favorite. Richtofen is from Zombie Mode. So these figures are also being updated to the 22 moving parts, fully articulated. They will also, all new Call of Duty product will also be coming in a box. Updated from the previous card-backed blister that they were in. As following the theme of other Call of Duty product, they will also come with downloadable ULC. So Black Ops 4, which is the most recent Call of Duty game, will be the ULC they'll be able to unlock. And again, one of the industry's worst-kept secrets is you always get a Call of Duty game every year. So there's just a constant stream of new content and therefore new figures. And so we like to create your fan favorites and prominent characters from the franchise. Good old Destiny. So Destiny, we have older product here as an example of obviously our varying categories we have for our 7, our 10 inch, and our role play. So we're also waiting for new content to come out for Destiny, and thus obviously when they have new content to come out, we will have new content to make figures of. They will also be updated to their 22 moving parts, and they've always been in box packaging, so we'll just keep that. But yeah, just waiting for new content to come out for new figures. Hello Neighbor, one of those indie hits that came about. We had made figures and construction sets for them. So similar, this is older product that we had last year, but we're also waiting for new content to come out for them. You know, another industry horrible kept secret. You know, they're working on another game. What's it about? What's in it? We don't know yet, but we know just waiting and seeing. Once they have content, again, we'll make product for a new game. Good old Five Nights at Freddy's. So we have made Five Nights at Freddy's construction sets for about, I say 3-4 years. So we have done sets from 4 games 1 through 5. So the fun thing about this series of construction sets is it is the wrap-up series, and what we mean by that is, so if we start here on our right, the right dresser drawer and the left hallway are the last 2 pieces you need to create the hallway and bedroom set from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The Fun With Plush Trap is the last little set to complete the Fun With series. The office desk that's next to it is the last set you need to complete the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 sets. And the toy stage is the last set that you need to complete all the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 sets. So what that means is once you have all these sets, and if you have all previous sets from those respective games, you can butt them all together to create the large environment. So obviously for 4, you can butt it all together to create the bedroom and the hallway. For 2, you butt up the vents next with the office desk, and you create the entire office from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And all the other pieces from 3, you butt up together to create the stage room area and the hallway. So that completes all the sets for games 1 through 4. Doesn't mean we're not going to be making any more. We're starting to delve into making sets for Five Nights at Freddy's 6, the Pizzeria Simulator. And of course, if any new games or movies come out, we plan to make sets for those as well. So you will still have your constant stream of fun Five Nights at Freddy's construction sets from McFarLane Toys. Cuphead! So our newest brand acquiring for construction is Cuphead. So we have 3 sets leading off. We have the Chaotic Casino, which comes with Mugman and Cuphead. And so the Chaotic Casino, this here is a resin cast prototype, so it doesn't move, but the final product, the fingers of the devil will be able to move up and down. The head of the devil will be able to turn left to right, and the doors will be able to open. The small sets we have is the Devil's Throne Room, which is, of course, the throne with the devil, and Devious Dice. Devious Dice comes with King Dice and his craps table. So, of course, we also want to do something new with it. We are doing a blind box. So the blind box will feature 24 different characters of various paints, rarities, and assortments. And so we haven't done a blind program for our construction series since the Walking Dead blind bag program. The fun thing to note, though, about all of the artwork on the packaging, you may realize it's really pretty, and it's really, like, right on brand. You want to know why that is? It was drawn by the Cuphead team themselves. They were so excited to work with us that they drew unique artwork for all the packaging just for these. So everything is drawn by them from them, also including the artwork on the instruction booklet. It has a cute little picture of Cuphead and Mugman laying on the floor with an instruction booklet and bricks everywhere, and it is super cute. So of course, if these all do well respectively, then we plan to make more. So again, you know, if you want to see more, then be sure to pick up or talk about how awesome these are, and we could do more sets. So meander over here. So actually we'll stand right here for a second. So I can't show you Harry Potter. So Warner Brothers wants to make sure that their product is properly displayed when it comes out, so they like to keep under wraps anything that's not final product. So any of the prototypes we have aren't ready to be shown yet, which is fine because I can talk about it all I want, and that just means that it's going to be a more awesome reveal later. So we got franchise-wide for the Wizarding World, and that means all 8 Harry Potter movies and all 5 Fantastic Beasts movies. So we're making action figures for Harry Potter, and that is 22 moving parts, fully articulated figures, full range of motion. I'm starting off with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and we are coming with Ron, Hermione, Harry, and Voldemort. So I picked that particular outfit is a series of outfits is NECA had previously had the series, and they did not do any figures for Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. So I figured I'd do a set of figures that had not existed yet. The fun thing to note about Harry, Ron, and Hermione is they all come with their respective Patronuses. So this is the first time Patronuses are being depicted in a figural form. So of course Harry comes with his stag, Hermione comes with her otter, Ron comes with his terrier. So because Voldemort does not have a Patronus, he comes with Nagini. And then all 4 have their respective wands. The thing to note is that we didn't want to restrict anybody's range of motion because obviously some characters have robes. Well, how do you deal with that? Well, Voldemort has fabric robes, and any other characters that will have fabric robes in the future will obviously take it on a case-by-case basis to if they will have fabric robes as well. It definitely has to be incorporated into the cost. Like I said, fabric is more expensive than plastic, hilariously enough. So it'll be case by case, but for now, that's the game plan to not limit articulation, is to have fabric robes. Similar to the Game of Thrones dragons, we also plan to do a creature line. We've lovingly dubbed them beasts in homage to the Fantastic Beasts franchise. The beasts will be similar, smaller scale creatures from the Wizarding World franchise. So far we're leading off with Buckbeak. Buckbeak, similar to the dragons, head will be able to move, wings will be able to move, legs, arms, and come with a base and stand. And so I plan to do, of course, additional figures as well. My tentative wave 2 for figures and for the next creature is October of this year. So we will meander this way and we'll go talk about Fortnite. Good old Fortnite. So for Fortnite, we do 2 different types of product. We do roleplay items and we do collectible figures. So the roleplay items seen here are full-scale iterations of your favorite harvesting tools from the game. We led off with Rainbow Smash, and our second one we have is Bite Mark. Behind you is Party Animal. Party Animal is the 3rd pickaxe that we will be coming out with. And so it is supposed to come out summer of this year. So we tend to release 1 or 2 of these a year, depending on if they do well, of course. So they tend to come out later in the year because obviously higher price point items tend to do better in later in the year due to people, looking for Christmas presents. These are great for your role play, your LARPing, your cosplayers, your Comic-Cons, your Halloween, etc. So if you want the most accurate, awesome representation of your favorite pickaxes, you definitely go to McFarLane. So next we have the collectible figures. So we base our decisions on outfits chosen of the figures, fan favorites most played. The benefit of Fortnite is because it's so bright and colorful, it allows us to have, really awesome, unique figures with that bright injected color. Fortnite was the initial brand that helped launch into McFarLane re-evaluating their articulation. So all of these guys have those 22 moving parts that had thus been applied to the rest of the company's brands. So they all come with their respective harvesting tool, a weapon, and their backpack bling. And so the ones that are shown out here are the first 8 that are currently in the market or about to be in the market, with a few exceptions, I think, of the last 2 that are currently circulating now. And obviously, if they continue to do well, then we plan to keep making more. But you can see how awesome their details are, down to their little zippers and buttons. Things like sweaters and jackets will cast in like a softer PVC plastic, so it's more malleable, so you still have your range of motion. Things that are shiny look shiny, things that are material look material. So we'll scooch over here to next to it. So obviously we plan to continue making our Fortnite figures. The ones here on the right are our newest figures we will be having coming out. Your Dark Bomber, your Ragnarok, your Wild Card, your Jonesy, and your AIM. So personally, Dark Bomber is like one of my favorites. Well, purple is like one of my favorite color schemes, but I also just like the dark aesthetic, followed by Ragnarok, because who doesn't like Skull Ghost Vikings? It's kind of great. Skull Ghost Iced Vikings. Because they're doing well, we also want to do deluxe boxes, vehicles, and gliders. So you can see here the shopping cart. The shopping cart will come with 2 figures. The shopping cart, which is metal and has rolling wheels. We also plan to delve into larger scale figures. So we have 2 examples of figures we are going to be experimenting with. So to your left, you have Raven, who is a fully static figure. If anybody is familiar with our 10-inch Walking Dead figures, they are fully static, but they have a little bit of articulation in the arms to adjust the gun, but they excel in having additional detail in paint. And to your right, next to Raven, we have Ice King, and Ice King is fully articulated. So this is a 10-inch figure with all 22 moving parts of a smaller figure, which means he will be a higher price point. But if he does well, respectively, we continue to do more for Fortnite, and obviously something we'll experiment with some of the other brands, including DC. So we'll go next to the next one over here. So the next one we have is our vehicles that we're dabbling in. Classic to the Fallout franchise, we have the gliders. So the gliders, of course, you can use to get from higher elevation to lower elevation. So the classic default glider you get in the beginning of the game has a lot of similar versions with different skins for the most part. Your basic glider looks similar to your Mako, which you see here. So we have different paint versions so you can collect your favorite iteration of the basic default glider. Of course, if they continue to do well, we'll make other variants as well, and maybe more complicated gliders. I personally am advocating for Frostwing, the dragon that comes with Ragnarok, because that'd be awesome. The gliders come with the base, the arm, the glider itself. The glider can actually be pivoted side to side. The wings can move, and then the arms of it can be adjusted. And it is, of course, compatible with all of the figures. We're also planning to do the Quad Crasher. Anybody familiar with it? It is the ATV-like vehicle you can use in-game. It can fit 2 figures, the driver, of course, and has pegs in the back to stand up a second character for firing. Of course, if these all do relatively well, we'll continue to make gliders, and we'll also continue to make vehicles. I know there's talks about a plane. And that is all the fun stuff, unless you want to talk about sports. Not feeling sports? Nah, I don't blame you. Anybody who needs to know, we're still doing NFL and NBA, classic McFarLane, classic doing Madden / NBA 2K, same old, same old. But yes, so I'm SHelby Matthews, brand manager here at McFarLane. Stay tuned for updates. DC is definitely coming along the line. Hopefully we'll have some more to talk about when it comes closer to San Diego Comic-Con. But we have a collector from 6 to 12-inch figures, I believe, and have full range to do everything from comic, animated, television, movie, video game, classic. Everything's available, everything's applicable. Even Todd designing some of his own stuff. So stay tuned for all that fun stuff, and thank you for stopping at the McFarLane booth at New York Toy Fair.
Thank you, Shelby. And I'm Roderick from Toy Masters Video Magazine, here at McFarlane's booth at Toy Fair at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York City. With that, take it easy, everybody. We'll catch you later.